Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ray Tampa podcast. Our podcast offers bold commentary on various subject matters with a laser-like focus on the truth. My name is Ray Tampa. I'm the host of the Ray Tampa podcast. We have in our studio Mr. Russell Cato, a retired educator with more than 42 years of experience working in the Pinellas County schools, and Mr. Jamie Wilson III, a healthcare provider with over 30 years of experience working as a physical therapist. My co-host. The thrust of today's podcast is the word accountability. Accountability. What does it mean? How is it implemented? The answers will be discussed throughout the podcast. On June 11, 2023, we did a podcast entitled Mayor Welch Needs to Listen Up. During that show, we talked about the concept of accountability as it relates specifically to Mayor Welch. We pointed out a number of reasons we felt Welch needed to be held accountable. From that date up until today's date, we have continually hammered home the fact that Welch needs to be held accountable for a number of reasons, a number of misdeeds of his administration. Well, from all indications, it seems the St. Petersburg public has gravitated toward our belief. His poll numbers for a sitting mayor are in the toilet. There is speculation that he might not even make the runoff election. The Tampa Bay Times did not recommend Mayor Welch for re-election. They stated a lot of the same reasons we have been stating for more than 3 years. For more than 3 years. How did things get so bad for a mayor who was beaming with pride and joy during his victorious election night? And he won with such a huge victory margin. How did things get so bad? Fellas, let's talk about it. Who would like to go first?
Well, I'm going to say the real mayor of St. Pete, Russell Cato. We'll let him go first.
Well, I'll go. Basically, we stated reasons that we feel that Mayor Welch could have corrected things in terms of the perception of his job as mayor or how he was performing his job as mayor. We stated things such as his refusal to meet with constituents, his refusal to return phone calls, his inability to put together a competent, effective, efficient staff. We talked about all the employees that left the city's employment, very competent individuals, with the first one being his deputy mayor. And following the deputy mayor was his director of communications. And eventually, The person he hired after a long search to fill the position of chief equity officer for the city of St. Petersburg, after a long search, he felt he found his person. But then, shortly thereafter, well, actually, about a month thereafter, she was gone. Then he hired a person from Bay News 9, a very competent, well-liked individual, longtime employee of Bay News 9. That selection gave his administration a small degree of credibility. Well, I don't want to say small degree, a degree of credibility. But now she's gone. What is happening with this mayor and personnel issues? One of the guys that received bonus money, yeah, one of the guys that received bonus money, he's gone because of sexual harassment charges or allegations. And the list can go on.
Yeah.
And the list can go on. So again, it's all on Mayor Welch.
Mm-hmm.
These are some of the reasons that the Tampa Bay Times stated we can't go with him again. Then the raise deal. The Tampa Bay Times said he lost the raise deal, but some of that is to blame on the Tampa Bay Rays themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can agree in part. I can agree in part because the contract or the agreement that they worked out with the Rays was horrible in the first place. The Rays wrote a lot of that deal up to benefit themselves.
Right.
Because why would they be given the opportunity so late in the process to just walk away from it?
Mm-hmm.
They should have been locked in long before that particular point.
Right.
Alan DeLisle, former economic development director for the city, said that after a very careful, a very thorough review of that particular deal, he said, no city deserves a development agreement this bad. This bad. And we all know it seems as though the Welch administration, his cronies, they weren't caring what we were saying out here. Their minds were set and they did not care. And I can keep going on and on, but I got the ball started.
So early on, early in his administration, transparency seemed to be an issue. People couldn't, transparency, what was going on, even these little back room, even talking about the whole race thing. The public wasn't aware a lot of what was going on until they start pushing back. But just people sitting down with him, you couldn't get him, you couldn't reach him. So that was a bad start altogether. And then back to the deal, you hire people, you hire deal makers, you hire people that deal with these national teams, these professional teams, to sit down and assist you so that you don't get the short end of the stick.
Right.
Never did that. So that was one of the things. And you don't let the damn team write the deal. You don't do that. So a lot of other things, and quite naturally, it's disappointing because I did want Ken to do well. I mean, I wanted him to do well, being the first Black mayor. I wanted him to do well, but we're sitting here talking about his fumbles, his pitfalls, but we didn't do this. He did it.
Right, right.
So it's not, he did all this stuff, and he had enough time to correct it. He had enough time to make it better. Who knows? Did he? This whole thing, I'm sure it was a big financial opportunity for him, but It's very disappointing. Like Moffitt Cancer Center, that would have been great for our area. And other things that hurt him, during a hurricane, it took a long time to clean up. You had late people getting their trucks and going by people's yard and just, filling their truck up, taking it to the city dump. People were making money off of it, but it shouldn't have took that. It should have, it should have been like boom, not just the rich areas, every area. Don't do the rich areas first. Hit everybody the same. Just get enough to cover it. But we could go on and on, but he did this to himself, and there was a lot of people hoping that he would do good things, great things, and possibly be reelected. But that's not what's going on. So he did this.
Correct. Excellent. What you say, Russ?
I got to go on what Jamie said, and you got to go back. Go back to 2021. Welch is the only one that served 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
Only one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Only candidate based on a charter that limit that kind of deal.
Right.
Not only that, which I'm so proud of, he was the first black man.
Mhm.
I was proud of that.
Yes.
Not only that, Ray, knowing that he came from St. Petersburg,
Mhm.
knowing that he came from the St. Pete area, all the historic background, it was there. When he blew that thing away, that election, Jamie and Ray, I was so proud.
Mhm.
I was so proud. I said, we got a guy here is really going to take care, and I'm going to say this, our people.
Mhm.
Because I felt that. I felt because a lot of people moved because of the state, because of the highway,
Mhm.
because of baseball. I
Mhm.
felt that Welch was going to put this damn thing in place.
Mhm.
And I felt so much on that. But here's what can cause things like that. You have heard some people get the big head.
Mhm.
You see, and when you get the big head, you come into this term Bosonism. You begin to say to yourself, if you don't do it my way, damn it, it's the highway.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So when you get into that kind of type of environment, people begin to pull away from
Mhm.
it. They give it to you. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
And your house divides.
Your house is stolen. But
Mhm.
it's not too much difference between Trumpism and Welch'ism here. There's not too much difference.
Say that again. I didn't hear it.
It's not too much difference between Trumpism and Welch'ism.
Oh, my God.
See, the same thing is taking place.
Mhm.
I am arrogant. I'm conceited. Damn it, if you don't do it my way, get the hell out of here. That's what wow.
Mhm.
And pretending that you know it all.
That's right.
How many times has Trump said nobody can do it better?
Right.
How many times has Trump said, I know more about the military than my general? How many times has he made stupid statements like that? So you're right. A lot of
A
Trumpism
lot of Trumpism there.
right there. Like going back to the Tampa Bay Times,
Yeah.
I really feel that they must have been paying attention
Yes, it
to our podcast. Well, like, as a matter of fact, I don't have to guess about that
Right.
because that same reporter that was in the studio with us
That's right.
from the Tampa Bay Times,
is.
she gets our podcast every time we put out a podcast. So she might have been sharing them with her bosses because the points that they made in their rejection of Welch for reelection are the points that we've been making.
Truly.
Now, I don't agree with a part of their recommendation because they got Brandy Gabbard coming in as one of their top choices
Truly.
to be mayor. If not Charlie Chris, they would prefer Brandy Gabbard.
Truly.
Brandy, even though we interviewed her, she did a great job. She presented herself as very likable, but Brandy was tied at the hip to Ken Welch for a long time. As a matter of fact, some people described Brandy as the female version of Ken Welch. So that's my only issue with that portion of their recommendations.
Right.
But I want to go back to what Jamie said about the Moffitt Cancer Center, because that was prominently stated in bold letters as one of their reasons for not selecting Ken Welch. Bold notation of the failed cancer center proposal. And then we go to something else that wasn't said, but I'll say it now. Those high water bills. People were getting water bills sometimes 10, 15, 25% higher, or 25 times higher, not percent, times higher than previously received. And he was not prompt in addressing that issue.
This is why you got to be reachable, so you can sit down with the public and find out what's going on to everyday working people. Listen to what's going on, the problems.
Yeah.
You know, people need help out here.
You know, Ken Welch talked about how he loves working with the neighborhood associations. His own neighborhood association president wants him out of office in a bad way. His own neighborhood association president has told us, because we interviewed her.
She was on the show.
She was on the show. But she and I were talking on a very regular basis thereafter, how she is so committed to seeing that this man is not reelected. And yet, I love working with my neighborhood associations, he said. Besides that, the Tampa Bay Times mentioned the fact that they really were giving him the benefit of the doubt, hoping that he would succeed. So were we. So were we, giving him the benefit of the doubt, hoping that he would succeed. But like you said, Jamie, earlier, it's all on him. People really, really hoped that he would succeed. But when you don't want to meet with people, you turn your back on people. I just talked about a lady inviting Ken Welch to her church. And she made the comment on Facebook because she saw Ken Welch kneeling and praying at a different church. I don't blame him. It's time for prayer. Send up all the prayers you can.
Oh, it's going to take a miracle.
It's going to take a miracle.
Yeah.
This won't be divine intervention this time. But anyway, the lady said that she invited Ken to her church 3 years ago. But her response from Ken's office was she needs to go through protocol. And that came from probably his secretary or aide or whatever title she has, gatekeeper, whatever. And God, Ken, a church inviting you to join them in service, and you won't go because it's not your favorite church, I guess. It's not your favorite church. What you gonna say, Russ?
I go back to what both of you were saying. If you notice, and I think Jamie said this earlier, he had the administration just had a transparent problem. It was so much going on wrong in that administration. It was a damn shame. I have to say that. Go back to your deputy mayor. He's the one picked this lady.
Yeah.
He's the one picked this lady. She was one of the worst deputy mayors you could pick anyway. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Lord, I'm so happy to hear you say that.
Anyway, and she had this bossism attitude also.
Lord.
Arrogance, man. You can't run things with arrogance.
Well, I kind of understood what was going on.
But I knew her.
You know,
I worked with her.
See,
and Welch.
yeah.
As a matter of fact, When I joined his campaign, we had a meeting. There were 4 of us in this meeting. Ray Tampa, Kenny Welch, Stephanie Owens, his manager, and Renee Flowers. The 4 of us. We met at the Manhattan Casino talking strategies. It was at that particular meeting I gave them an article that I wrote. I wrote that article 45 minutes before that meeting. And it's right there in the archives of the Weekly Challenger. Anybody can go and see it. And the title of that article was Revenge Politics, Ridiculous and Dangerous. It was an article in support of Ken Welch, strongly in support of Ken Welch. So when I read the article to Renee, Ken, Stephanie, they all liked it. And then I handed the article to Renee Flowers and asked her to have it put in the Weekly Challenger. And she did. That person, Stephanie Owens, in that meeting, even though she didn't object, she had a face like, what the hell you doing? You know, what the hell you doing? Because she had problems. She had problems. Yeah, so I told Ken's wife. Standing in an aisle at Target, out on Park Boulevard or Park Street. I told Ken's wife, Donna, that I didn't agree with him picking her as deputy mayor in the first place. Bad pick. And look what she did. Besides having created conflict on the campaign trail, she went into the office and created conflict. So again, that's on Ken Welch.
Yeah.
That's on Ken. But it's sad when we have our first African-American mayor, one that we all put a lot of hope in. We all expressed the desire for him to achieve optimal success. Well, and look what's going on.
Well,
You know, if you go back and look at comparison, I'm going to say this. The Trump administration, the Welch administration. I look at Charles Blanche, who the president is trying to defend. One of the worst. How in the hell can you defend Charles Blanche? Tell me that.
I ask that question all the time.
Back and say to Welch, how in the hell could you defend the slave?
Yeah.
So when she came up, he defended her. I mean, see, he was on her side. But I guess you have to do that when you have similarities.
Right.
When you have similarities, you have to defend similarities. But it's bad. It's bad.
well,
I've never seen an administration with so much serious.
yeah, I got you.
AJ.
I do hope that whoever the next mayor is, that they revisit, if possible, bringing the Moffitt Cancer Center back this way. And another thing that kind of irritates me is that he declined on the possibility of getting Moffitt here over, I think, 24 or a couple of dozen, as they say, affordable homes. When with the raise, they had a clause in there where they could just not build affordable homes at all. You know what I mean? They had a clause where they could just pay a fee for not doing it, but just totally omit them. So I really hope that we have a lot of sick people here. Cancer is on the rise, all forms of it. I think it would be a benefit to St. Pete, because that long drive all the way to Tampa for that when you're already sick, I think it would be a benefit to have it here.
And a lot of people feel the same way you feel.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
I look at my friend Vince Cox, what he was going through with his cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that he and his wife would have to drive to the Moffitt Cancer Center as regularly as they did, how that could have benefited Vince to not have to go through that drive.
Mm-hmm.
We should have got that.
Yeah, we should have gotten it. But I think he's going to retire. He had 5 years, 4.5, 5 years to make his 1.2 million, 1.2 million, $75,000. So he's good. He'll retire on, but I don't think there's any chance of him, no matter what.
Rick said a few minutes ago, even when Welch approached the baseball, I give him credit for some of that. I really do. But I'm thinking that he's looking baseball in relationship to the community.
Yeah, we don't care. We don't benefit from baseball. That's tough. No, we don't benefit. So, first of all, you got brokenhearted gas plant people still come up with something in their favor. Why are you going to let these people structure the deal when it's not in the favor of the city and the people that were basically pushed out of the area? That's what I'm saying. It's like it was more for the investors. It wasn't for the community. It was more for the investors. And it just wasn't a good thing. And that hurt him along with a lot of things hurt him. But that bonus money, the $250 to everybody, that hurt him bad. And that early on, stuff like that. And the main thing is not sitting down with people and being transparent, because a lot of stuff was going on. You remember those little marches they had down at City Hall? Not marches, but meetings at City Hall. Just a lot of little things. And he could have, some of that stuff, he could have just nipped at the bud and came out, talked about, owned up, handle it, and just changed his image. But he didn't try to do that. You can't be arrogant. You can't follow Trump's rule book, homeboy. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Follow Trump's rule.
Yeah, you come from here. We're gonna hold you accountable. You got blood here. Your father, your family's from here.
I try and tell people all the time that Ken Welch was a Republican before he switched to the Democratic Party. He ran for the school board as a Republican. But when he lost, he realized that this is not a Republican base. Switch parties. But that was for political expediency. That was for political expediency. And once he switched to the Democratic Party, he won race after race after race to remain on the county commission. But Ken has a lot of Republican tendencies.
Yeah.
A lot of them. As a matter of fact, Russ, you may remember some time ago, I gave you a sheet where I compared Ken Welch to DeSantis.
Oh, that's another one. Now that's a monster too.
Lots of similarities.
Monster.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yes.
We're at the point that people have their ballots in hand. People have to make decisions. And it seems as though people have, gotten smart about how the political operations are working in St. Petersburg. And that being the case, Ken Welch is in trouble.
Yeah, his fate is already determined. He just needs to go ahead and retire and ride off into the sunset and do it. And it's still other things you could do in the community, even after you retire as mayor. There's other things you can do or be a part of. It doesn't have to be being a mayor, but I just hope, just wish him well, but he's got to go.
Okay, we've been signaled that time is up. As always, I hate this point. But I want to thank my two co-hosts for a job well done, as always. And I want to thank you, the listening audience, for tuning in to the Ray Tampa podcast, and ask that you continue doing so each and every Tuesday evening, 5:30 p.m. on 99.1 FM, The Bird. And we also want to remind people the ballots are out. Please take your time, read those ballots, and make your choices, and get those ballots back to the supervisor of elections as soon as possible, myself included. I might go home and start filling mine out today.
Yeah, don't wait till the last minute.
All right. With all that being said, good evening.